Yo, what's up? Carlton Williams, legendary music and visuals, CEO.
Still dodging 12, still playing with that, ooh. Niggas always say what they gon' do, but never do. Light skin like Rodamez, huh? But I'm sliding like I'm Bishop, money taller than his boots. Had my first runner church phone off the boost, man.
The inspiration was really hip hop. Growing up in that early era of hip hop, the earliest era of hip hop, it was just really engaging, and it just really drew me in. And we had when I was younger, the guys had the pickup trucks with the systems in the back beating down the street, and that just captured you as a young person, back growing up in the city. And for those who weren't as fortunate, we just had to do what we had to do. I remember seeing guys, with house speaker boxes in the back of their cars. I was relatively young, 16, 17, maybe even younger than that. Had a paper route, and I used to take some of my money and go to Radio Shack. We used to have a store, Radio Shack. We could buy audio components and whatnot. I grabbed a brand was a realistic speaker, and bought that and a tweeter, individual pieces. Went home and had a cardboard box, and just any kind of speaker wire I could find. Wired them up, hooked them up to actually one of my mom's, God rest her soul, her old hi-fi. That's how I found out that they worked, with the hi-fi. And really from there, I just really fell in love with it. That was my first speaker, and went from making, speakers on my own to I was the guy in the neighborhood putting the systems in, everybody's cars, on the block. And I just had a passion for it, and that passion came from music.
Dirty money, good boys. Nigga.
The time the actual process is really more, for me it was more financial, because I knew what I wanted to do. It was procuring the resources. We're in the world now with the internet, there's resources all around you. So it's just finding the right way, finding that information on how to gather the materials to make it happen, or engaging with manufacturers. So that was the process of finding the different chipsets that I wanted, because that is your sound. A lot of your sound quality is the chipsets in the headphones. So I knew what I did and didn't like about some of the headphones that are on the market today. A lot of them really miss bass response. Like I said, from that old hip hop era, that car shaking bass. You want to feel that in your ears when you got your headphones on, but not have to have the volume too loud to where it's distorting, and it can cause hearing issues.
Put 100, that's why these niggas envy. And I'ma stand 10 toes and never fall real, nigga. The blood type that's laying in me.
The logo was basically a culmination of photography, which I love doing photography. Then it was the music that we all enjoy, the music that I enjoy. So that's where the notes, the music comes around the camera, because visual and sound and music all come together. They all work together.
I could have bought a Charlie, baby K, nor daddy list. You went to play in Cali.
Give me a B, I eat that bitch like it's J.I.
I guess that would kind of be hard to do without having some bias, but I'll take it back to my early days. Definitely Eric B and Rakim, EPMD, Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Curtis Blow. Just the list can go on and on. In earlier stages of hip hop. But I have to say my favorite, really that had the most impact on me in hip hop, I would have to say was EPMD. Eric Sermon, I was a huge fan of that group and what they created back then with the Hit Squad and the Def Squad.
They thought a nigga lost the sauce cause I ain't drop a chain. I went and spent that shit on guns. I'm in the
today's hip hop, I had to learn hip hop over, because the hip hop obviously that's out now is way different than what I grew up on, but it's still the message. A lot of it is still the message of what's going on in the urban areas where these kids are from. The only downside I personally see is there's too much repetition, and that may not be all the fault of the artist. There's a collective reason why this happens. The producers, I hold them in high accountability for what they put out there. If you go onto the internet or you go onto Instagram, you'll see producers saying T Grizzly type beat. So what gets to me is, so basically you looked and you listened to a song that another producer engineered and put together, and you took their foundation. And I mean, some of them, it's not even just the foundation. It's almost like they encompass the whole beat, from the BPMs to the instruments that are being used. It's almost like the same beat. So that's why there's a lot of repetition in there, because everybody wants to do what's hot. There's very few producers that go and create their own style, their own sound. That was really big in early hip hop. I was really impressed by the way the influence of, back in the day, Teddy Riley had on the whole future sound of hip hop. Had Teddy Riley not moved to Virginia Beach, he wouldn't have discovered the Neptunes, Pharrell and Chad. So, can you imagine how many songs through the course of hip hop genre from the Neptunes' inception to now that wouldn't have been made, or they may not have been made at that time, or at that the caliber that they were made. There's a lot of things that the universe conspires to put people together to move the needle forward. So that's what I would ask of the producers, to create your own sound. Don't duplicate.
These niggas like virgins, they ain't hitting shit. Free my nigga Jet, when he get out, we put him in a mix.
Touchdown, I done made another play, but had to hit a couple stakes. Go ahead, get that money. What now? They wondering what I made. Don't worry, because I'm paid. Go ahead and get that money.
For me, my engagement with the youth started early. I mean, well before hip hop, and that started in the early 2000s at the Tyndall Recreation Center, where a few friends of mine asked if I wanted to have my son sign up for a basketball league. So we did so, created a team, and along the way, we really just got into a bunch of dads, mothers, grandparents, and just being around the people that engage with their children on that level, which was equal to mine and my wife's, that we didn't mind our kids spending the night at these people's homes, and and vice versa. And we just really became a family. And then we really just started using that opportunity of having those young men and women around us consistently, using that time to also mentor. keep track of their grades, things like that. Because, like I said, it started with sports, but we wanted to make sure that they were going to be good, along the way. And it started there, and I met some just really incredible people through that whole timeline, and that are to this day considered family and friends. That really just kicked everything into high gear. So for me, when my kids started showing an interest in music, I have a nephew that showed interest in music, some of his friends, and so on and so forth. And we just put everything, all the resources together, and I just really put them in the studio. Some of them were already going, but we just put it together and made some really, really good music.
White collar, swimming in the water, white bus for my goggles. Pedal to the metal, so I'm going full throttle. Money on my mind, always thinking about a dollar.
To me, artist development is a lost part of the business, a lost part of music and hip hop. Record labels and whatnot, they have the artists themselves generate their own buzz. So almost to the point where the artists are their own A&Rs. And a lot of these young people don't have the resources to do as such. They don't have the resources to pay for studio time, consistently, to get enough practice time, into their craft. But right now with technology, they can use stuff like GarageBand, things on their phone. They can do that, but there is not a lot of focus on grooming artists and giving them the time to develop and become themselves. That's why you see a lot of the successful artists with long tenure. When they come into the game, they're a little older because they've been the boots on the ground, and they've had that time to practice and find themselves, find their style. Now it's more of a algorithm. How many views you get, things like that. The substance of the song doesn't have to really be about anything anymore.
They say they believe in me. They only want profit. I can't let them stop me. I gotta get to it. 30-day grind is the life in the movement. I tell myself daily, I gotta get through it. I tell myself daily, I know I can do it.
That was inspired by just working with the artists that I've worked with in the past, and just seeing how hard it is to get into the studio for artists consistently, and the cost associated with getting into the studio, then the creative process. If you're paying $75-$100 an hour for a studio time, and you've worked up a couple $100, you feel pressured as an artist that you have to come out with something. So that's why a lot of things are rushed. The mixing's rushed, the mastering's rushed. Everything's rushed because of the financial responsibility. The financial responsibilities are huge. They're huge. So this studio gives artists a chance to hone their craft, practice. So that way, when they do release music, they're releasing their best versions of themselves.
What advice would you give?
Learn the business before you get into the business. It's no simpler than that. Find out if you're going to profit, from your endeavors. Find out exactly what the cost is to be an artist. Really do your research. Make sure that your name is trademarked. Copyrights. Your BMI, ASCAP, whoever your performing rights company is, get those things in order before you even start putting out music, on the internet and whatnot.
Head over heels. They say you still to be killed. They say you head over heels.
Truthfully, LMV, we're not a label. We are more of in that space anyway, in the music space, more of a artist development, relationship building. I'm huge into that relationship building. Using my experience and my interactions with people, putting them together with some of these artists so they can make great bodies of music. So for me, it's building more relationships. That's what I really see coming forward for LMV is relationship building, and that's going to help grow. Not only with the headphones, but just with the whole vibe that I really want to see come from the city. That vibe of unity. That's what we need more of.
I can teach you how to make 1,000 less than 7 minutes. I can teach you how to make 100 just by typing digits. Brody, he be whipping in the kitchen, he ain't making chicken. Brody, he be whipping in the kitchen, he ain't washing dishes.
Oh man. What's next for the LMV headphones? Earbuds. They're in development right now, along with some more over-ear headphones in different colors and whatnot. Still working on the the chipsets and what I want to use. The quality of sound. Just keep evolving. That's what we're trying to do. Is, to keep evolving. There's a couple more things, but I'm gonna keep those under my hat right now. But look for some new products in the future. So there you have it. Have some more insight on myself and Legendary Music and Visuals, and where we're headed for the future, where we started. Appreciate everybody tuning in. You can reach everything Legendary with the link in the bio on our Instagram, or you can reach us at legendarybosses.com.
And tell themselves a whole lot like you ain't the one that's gifted. I'm baffled. They condone this sucker shit, but that's a constant battle. Get a gold to the losers, I ain't win that raffle. But I'm a prize fighter, go toe to toe with your idol shit, and it's at I write 'em. I will go back to that block, but they blocking the shots. It's like I can't tell the difference, they mad or they ops. I keep that stick by my bladder, I'm still post-op 5 and 6.